Radio 14, KMHL in Marshall. Josh Goldblush hanging out with you. And, throughout the week, we've kind of been talking about New Year's resolutions, sticking with it, various resolutions that folks are looking at here for the year 2025. And I'm happy to announce we have Jim LaValle joining us, a renowned clinical pharmacist, board-certified clinical nutritionist, and also an author with over 40 years of expertise in metabolic and integrative medicine. Also as Chief Science Officer for Lifetime and CEO of Metabolic Code Enterprises, he has pioneered innovative health strategies for clients ranging from Olympians to everyday individuals. And LaValle has served as Integrative Medicine Program Director for the Pro Football Hall of Fame Health and Performance Program, and advises professional sports teams like the Chicago Blackhawks, New England Patriots, and Houston Astros. Also a dedicated educator, LaValle has taught at institutions like the University of Cincinnati and George Washington University, and he has authored over 20 books, including the bestseller Cracking the Metabolic Code, and was named one of the 50 most influential pharmacists by American Druggist magazine. Jim, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing very well indeed. I have a couple of my New Year's resolutions, most of them, like most folks, eat a little bit better, exercise a little bit more. And, so far, a couple days into it, we're doing A-OK, but we're going to be talking about maybe extending those resolutions out and staying in shape throughout the whole thing.
Absolutely. I think that's a core thing. Is just how do you create habits out of lifestyle changes?
Yeah, no doubt about it. So let's get into it. What are some of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to recover from a tough workout?
Well, there's some things that are going on. First of all, 1 in 5 people exercise regularly right now in the U.S. We got to get those numbers up. And then when you get somebody that hasn't exercised in a while, and then they start to exercise, and maybe they overdo it, they haven't gone and got proper, instruction from a certified fitness trainer, that creates a problem because now all of a sudden I'm so sore and achy. How am I going to get to work tomorrow? I can hardly get out of my chair. And so I think that's one of the most important things to keep in mind is if, depending on where you're at with your resolution, how long it's been since you've exercised, getting with a personal trainer, maybe getting an assessment, start with doing some stretching and walking. You can start with what's called zone 2 walking, where, you can't carry on a conversation, but at the same time, you can do 2 or 3 sentences with no problem. You want to try and push that a little bit and just work up to regular exercise. And of course, like you mentioned, eating better is a great option. And even, nobody's going to be perfect, but if you can try and make a habit of, weekdays, I'm going to really push to try to eat healthier, because what I find is when people eat healthier and start to exercise, even if it's not at their full desire, right? Hey, I want to train an hour every day. Doing something starts to build a habit to getting that eventual goal.
Kind of touched on the food option. What are some of the key nutrients you recommend for faster muscle recovery, and how do they work?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, one that just literally a paper just came out on it was Kyolic aged garlic extract. So you can't get the same effect from eating garlic. You have to get the specific garlic that goes through a 20-month process of aging. And what she found is that in middle-aged endurance athletes, basically people that were training, that helped them not only to perform better, but it helped them reduce their resistance to fatigue. And then it also helped improve muscle oxygen and reduce the lactic acid buildup. So what that means, I'm going to be sore less, I'm going to recover better. And then there's other benefits to aged garlic extract. Cardiovascular benefits are incredible. There's over 900 publications on it, multiple studies for heart health. So, and look, if we're in this for longevity, heart health should be at our focus. So aged garlic extract works out great. The other one that's important is probiotics. A lot of news about the microbiome and the importance of probiotics coming out. Now, we have found out that it can play a significant role in reducing muscle fatigue and improving recovery time. They actually published a study in 2023 that showed that probiotics could actually influence muscle recovery and then help to balance out your inflammation response. And that makes sense because 70% of your immune system is in your gut. And we know that the harder you train, the more you need to work at recovery. And the harder an individual trains, the more it can affect their beneficial flora or their microbiome. So big effect on your, just general fitness and recovery when you think about using probiotics. And then the last one, which is really interesting, is an extract from plant sterols and sterolins. It was known as Moducare, and they did a study on endurance athletes where they usually would get sick after they ran a marathon, right? So they get upper respiratory tract infections, and they gave them, this plant sterol and sterol combination, sterols and sterolins called Moducare, and it reduced the post-event upper respiratory tract infections and kept their immune system cells in a better ratio. Now, you don't have to be a marathon runner to get the benefit from that, because I know I utilize this in our practices, and it really helps people with their day-to-day immune support. So Moducare is a biggie. And so those are three really kind of the latest research on three really interesting nutrients. And then, there's a lot of other things that you can do.
So once again, aged garlic extract, probiotics, as well as plant sterols and sterolins. This doesn't sound like something you'd normally find in your grocery store. Where can we find these things?
Well, health food store has them. I know we're talking to the Minneapolis folks. If they're at Lifetimes, I know they carry these as well. So if you're a member, you could get them there. But most leading health food stores, or if you wanted to go to kyolic.com, that also is a spot where you can read up on it. You can find out how to order it and go from there. But the studies are actually pretty incredible on the effect of these compounds on your health.
No doubt about it. Now, do you have some advice for the folks, with these New Year's resolutions, maybe just starting out with that new exercise routine? And how can they avoid some of those common pitfalls?
Yeah, I'll tell you, one of the big ones is you can start with, if you get a foam roller, if you don't have a roller that you can roll your muscles on, that helps get rid of lactic acid out of your muscle tissue, really helps to kind of get pliability back to your muscle. Or massage guns are really popular. They're popping up everywhere now. It used to be hard to find one of those. Now it doesn't matter what store you go into, you can find a massage gun that you can help you do before you work out. Once again, get blood to the muscle, loosen the muscles up. And then, there's some popular things that are out there. I mean, everybody's seen the ads on beets taking in beet juice. Mm-hmm. And it turns out that beet juice helps to improve blood flow because it improves something called nitric oxide. So what happens is your blood vessels will dilate. That helps to carry oxygen into your muscle, and that reduces inflammation, less muscle damage post-workout, and so you get better recovery if you drink beet juice. Another one, it helps good heart health, and so that'd be something that you can do if you're not crazy about drinking beet juice. Eat spinach, eat arugula. You can eat the beets, but a lot of people actually nowadays are just using beet lozenges as well, and those work really well. And then the other one that was surprising was drinking coffee. So there's actually good studies that show, multiple studies, that if you drink a little bit of caffeine before your workout, it reduces subsequent muscle soreness and reduces the fatigue. And in one particular study, it showed almost 50%, a 48% drop in what's called DOMS. And DOMS is delayed onset muscle soreness. So I don't think you want to drink a pot of coffee before you go into the gym, but, drinking a cup of coffee is pretty solid, so that was pretty good. And I think that works out well. And then the other one is that, we think of coffee being as dehydrating, but in another study, it showed that it actually hydrates as well as water. So, if you want to include pre-workout coffee. Now, there's some people that are sensitive to caffeine. They can't take on the coffee or they won't sleep at night. You guys are out of luck. Drink water, drink the beet juice. But honestly, a good cup of coffee works really well for people. That's
pretty interesting. And I never would have thought of that. Now, it's kind of funny that you mentioned that because sitting right in front of me is a bottle of water, but it's from a convenience store. It actually has water and caffeine in it. So you can hydrate and energize. I feel like this is the perfect thing for this.
You solved the riddle.
It's right there.
You got it, man. No, I mean, honestly, that's really, it's not a bad option. Some people don't like the taste of coffee. And I think there are other compounds in coffee. There's other, mm-hmm. it's a plant, right? So there's a lot of different, natural, chemicals in coffee that could also be beneficial. But without a doubt, a little bit of caffeine, making sure your hydrating is big. And that's the other one I try to get people to understand is make sure you're taking electrolytes. Mm-hmm. if you're working out and you're sweating and you're not eating a lot of green leafy vegetables to get your magnesium or your potassium back, drink an electrolyte drink after your workout, especially if you're on the treadmill sweating it up. And obviously you want to get some resistance training in because that's going to help retain your lean muscle and build bone. So a nice combination of those things is incredibly important. And then the other one is if you can afford it, even getting a massage, one, they're just great if you got a good massage therapist. And you're working out, you're committed to this New Year resolution. Maybe every few weeks you go and you get a massage just to kind of work the knots out while you're getting started.
Now, when it comes to recovery strategies, we've talked on a number of them, trying to figure out what works best for each individual person. Is it kind of like a try it and see what works best for you, or is there like a step-by-step thing that folks should follow when it comes to the recovery process?
Well, I think there's a few things that everybody should do. Make sure you're hydrating well. If you're getting muscle cramps, muscle spasms, think about taking some magnesium. So the hydration's big. Getting a good night's sleep is huge. I mean, the more you can get a good sleep, a lot of people wearing wearable devices that are showing you how much deep sleep you've got and how much REM sleep you've got. You want to strive towards getting better night's sleep. That's how you're going to really recover. Managing your stress response during the day. Do a little bit of deep breaths, a couple times each day. Release the stress of the day. That's going to be really helpful. And then I think a few key nutrients. I think everybody, because heart disease is it's our number one killer, right? And I love aged garlic extract just because, 900 publications, 5 of the studies that were done were all double-blinded at UCLA, Harvard Medical, by the top interventional cardiologist in the country. And he showed a significant benefit to the pliability or flexibility of your arteries. Your blood pressure tends to go down a bit on it. Helps to reduce vulnerable plaque, which is kind of the plaque that hasn't calcified yet and is actually more dangerous. So I think that's a great option for people. And depending on what people's tolerances are for how many pills do I want to take? You take a good multi, you take some aged garlic extract. But if you're prone to getting colds and flus, maybe you want to add in that plant steroid known as Moducare. And then the big one is make sure you get the stretching in. Make sure you get get a roller. Try to work through the muscle a little bit and get that soreness out to get started. And then once again, you don't have to start with an hour workout. If you're stressed on time and you're really out of shape, look, if you got a neighborhood and you got sidewalks, start with a walk before you walk in the gym. The one thing I know, being a chief science officer with Lifetime is that, the fitness trainers that are certified and they've done a lot of work in their education can really help guide you. And you got to remember how old you are. I'm 64. So, walking in and having a trainer try to develop a workout that, the workout for a 25-year-old may not work out for me, right?
Yeah.
So, you have to be realistic about where you are at your time of life. You have weight to lose. How long has it been since you've worked out? Just think through it. But the one thing that everyone needs to do is to take action.
Yeah.
Start with some sort of movement if you haven't been moving a lot. Make sure you're making smarter choices about food. Try to get more, vegetables in. Order that salad. Maybe nachos and pizza less than 3 times a week would be a good idea, right?
Exactly.
It's those kind of things that can actually start to add up for people. Stick with it. Get a plan. And if you need help, get someone that's a certified fitness trainer or performance coach to help you make a plan.
Once again, we are chatting with Jim LaValle, renowned clinical pharmacist, board-certified clinical nutritionist, and author with over 40 years of expertise in metabolic and integrative medicine. Just a couple more questions for you, Jim. Where can we get some more information about what we discussed today, and do you have any New Year's resolutions for 2025?
Absolutely. So more information, they could go to Kyolic.com. If they want to look at my Instagram, The Real Jim LaValle is my Instagram. And I have a lot of information about health on that Instagram. And obviously, Lifetime is a great spot. They've got an incredible app that you can load up in terms of your exercise plans. So, Lifetime's got a great app that you can readily get. And then my New Year resolution is actually to just become more efficient at planning my time off so that when I'm off, I'm truly off and I'm relaxing. I have my diet and exercise and sleep pretty dialed in. It's just when you're writing books, I've got, 2 rewrites of books and another 2 coming out over the next 12 months. I've got a plan for my day, but not make myself crazy.
Okay, well, let's dive into the books then just a little bit before we let you go. Can you give us a little sneak peek of what's coming up?
Oh, absolutely. So I wrote a book called Your Blood Never Lies, and that's was written back in 2013. It sold incredibly well, just teaching you how to read a lab test for health and not just that, you're out of bounds and you're sick. So I got a rewrite on that. And then the new version of Cracking the Metabolic Code is coming out with all the latest information on your health that really helps guide people, with questionnaires and what are the right labs and understanding that your body is connected, so that, your adrenal glands, if you're under stress, can push out too much cortisol. That affects your blood sugar. It can affect your cholesterol. It can affect your sex hormones. So it's starting to get an understanding of, you're not just a series of organs in your body there where things can go wrong, that they're all connected. The better you can get a feel for that and start to work on your body as a whole thought, the better off you're going to be guiding yourself towards, what I call longevity with thriving, right? It's not just a matter of living longer because, people can live longer and they could be on a lot of meds, but at the same time, they don't feel great. We want people to thrive. We want them to feel fantastic as they're aging, not limited by that biological age. And so that's what the Metabolic Code 2.0 version, I'd call it, is all about. So pretty excited about that.
No doubt about it. Jim, I appreciate the time here today telling us all about it, and hopefully we can stick through those New Year's resolutions and not feel so sore after our workouts. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.